Stroke for healing.
Hello, and welcome to At Stroke for Healing. Thank you for being here. We both appreciate you. And in a moment, I will introduce my special guest, but I want to welcome you. And where in the world are you from? Put it in the comments. If you're from South Africa, or you're from Brazil, or if you're from the United States, wherever you are, put it in the comments. Today, today my special guest is Nicole Lawrence. Her name is on the bottom over there. Her name is at the bottom. And we met in Amsterdam several years ago before I had a stroke. I am a travel agent that we have both traveled the world, and I want you to know her. So you may be saying, "Well, why is she on the show?" Don't go to my and watch this broadcast. Hi, Nicole. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Eva.
You're welcome. So, Nicole, I know you as a travel professional. Tell us about yourself.
So, I own Travel with Great Company. We specialize in destination weddings, honeymoons, celebrations, and I'm also a former caregiver. I cared for my mom for 17 years after her stroke, and it was an experience that really shaped my life as an advocate. Also, just preserving her quality of life and just being a caring caregiver.
Well, thank you. And that's why I have you on the show, because you have been a caregiver. As a former caregiver, I want you have a lot of wisdom. So I want you to hear some of her words of wisdom. And thank you. So, Nicole, you mentioned that you were a caregiver to your mom. So tell us a little bit about your mom.
Okay. So, my mom, well, of course, she was an amazing woman, right? She would do woodworking, she did jewelry making, she would manage her own lawn, so cut the grass and do the edges. Like, she was a very active woman, very into a lot of crafts and arts and cooking, and like she was interested in everything under the sun. She had a stroke. She had back-to-back strokes, but she didn't let having a stroke stop her from living. She still was into her crafts, but it was in a different way. It wasn't necessarily mowing the grass, but she stayed interested in the arts and watching programming that would teach you how to do things. And so she just very much stayed active, but in a different way.
That's good. It's very important to stay active, even if you had a stroke. Because I had an AVM stroke in January 27th of 2023, and you may be wondering, why do I have this podcast? Even though I'm still doing travel, I love to travel. Like Nicole loves to travel. We love to travel and meet new people. But since the stroke, I have seen how God has used me in a different way, and you want to be used in a different way after a stroke. And thank you again for sharing. But what was the greatest moment with her, with your mother?
Yeah, so there were several. in addition to, escorting her to her doctor's appointments and things, we would have outings at least, every couple of weeks or so. We would go to the movies, we would go out to dinner at restaurants. We even went to Disneyland. We didn't go like ride the rides, but we went into like downtown Disney, which was really cool. And so, yeah, we would go out for Thanksgiving dinner at Sizzlers.
Oh boy.
We just had all kind of little outings. We'd go to the mall, go shopping. Um, I like to, I wanted her to have, as much of a normal life as possible. And so doing things that she would have done before, but in a different way, it gave her such joy. And we always looked forward to getting together.
It is
I,
joyful. I love
yeah.
it. I love to shop. I love to go out. Even though I had a stroke, I still enjoy dressing up. That's just me. And I see your spouse, your mother is still making a pressure on you. And
Yes.
that's
Yes.
wonderful. Mothers are special people. Mothers are. And
They
so,
are.
uh, what what would you say? We've said a lot of positive things. What would you, as a caregiver, what were some of the challenges?
So being on call 24/7, needing to be available, even if you're not available, you need to be available.
Hmm.
Being responsible for making sure that everyone involved in my mother's care were on the same page, that everyone had all of the same information, and were tending to her as needed. Being in the hospital with her and connecting with social workers, that was helpful, but it could be challenging at times because if there wasn't a program to meet a need, it was trying to creatively find a way to get the need met.
Okay.
So, another one of the challenges was navigating long term care without long term care insurance. And so then having to rely on social workers to try to get programs and different resources to fill the needs that long term care insurance would have helped with had we had it.
Okay. Long-term care insurance is very important to consider. Okay. And then, uh, how did it affect your ability to travel for yourself?
Interesting enough, I actually started my travel agency after my mom had the stroke. It was probably 4 or 5 years after. I had scheduled a cruise for myself and fell in love with travel, seeing the world, being out on the water. And I had a goal to take my mom on a cruise too. Unfortunately, it didn't come to pass, but for me, I wasn't able to travel often, but at least once a year. I think every caregiver needs to take some respite and take a week and do something for them. And so I fell in love with travel during this season, and at least once a year, I would take a 7 day cruise or go to an all inclusive just to recoup myself.
Yeah. It is very important for the caregiver to take care of themselves. That's one of the things river cruising doesn't have that we specialize in, has a wellness uh for wellness and getaway. Even if it's a staycation, you need to get away, take care of yourself, get a massage, relax, uh, and read your. For me, it's reading the Bible, reading my word that calms me. And listening to music. We were working one of my son's songs. Uh, so music is very helpful for me to calm down and take care of myself. So I shouldn't say my last words, but my question was, what would you say to someone recovering from a stroke or who is a caregiver or a stroke survivor? What are not travel, what are some tips
Yeah.
that will help,
I would
that
say,
you would like them to have?
yeah, what are some tips that I would want for either a stroke survivor or caregiver? I would say first and foremost, have the hard conversations now. Communicate what your wishes are. Talk about, how you would want things handled because to the person, who has survived a stroke, your loved one wants to do exactly what you want them to do, but you have to have the conversation to know what to do so that if something happens, you're prepared.
That is so important.
Yeah. Second, I would say be an advocate to the caregivers. Be a good advocate. Ask questions, lots of them. Attend appointments when possible. Keep the information organized and use resources like social workers at hospitals and in other environments.
That's very good to know. I have some resources that we want to share with you is stroke.org. That that is stroke.org. The American uh, Stroke Association, the American Heart Association, and you can find a lot of information on strokes if you follow their. You don't even have to follow if you don't want to, but remember you should need to go to stroke.org to get info. And also, for those of you who are AARP members, you do AARP.org and go under caregivers or strokes and you get information. My number one would be the other one, and that's stroke.org.
Stroke.org.
Yeah, so that there are some resources that you can use that will be helpful, and they have upgraded and changed it, and there's a lot of information on there. If you're wondering about strokes or who's at risk, you have questions, you can put it in the comments, is one way, or you can go to that website and find out information. And remember, we're not the health professionals, but we are sharing with you. And if you want more information, go to the stroke.org site. I hope that helps. Well, do you have any other tips that you want to share?
I would just say definitely get long-term care insurance. Like it's a worthwhile investment, and just make sure you're taking care of yourself. Exercise, rest, maintaining parts of your life, and have a respite plan if you become a caregiver.
Yes, those are all good. I hope that you're listening. And not just listening, that you're doers, although you're doers. You're going to start thinking about those things that were mentioned because it's so important. It's a gift from you to me to to your family. It can be a gift. It doesn't feel like it right now, but it is. It can be. Uh, Thank you. Thank you, Nicole, for sharing your wisdom. I know that it may be hard to remember your mother emotionally, but emotionally, I hope that we hit the positive things and what you think that you have learned from being a former caregiver. And then thank you for joining us and taking the time out of your day to listen. And not just listen, we want you to do. And remember to exercise. And remember to rest. It's so important. Those are and other tips. Remember them too, because they are so important. And then I always like to end my broadcast with be a blessing. Be a blessing, not just to your family, but to someone else. You never know how you're touching someone. I met Nicole years ago. I thought, oh, bye for now, see you later. But years later, we have connected, and I'm so thankful. So you never know. So be a blessing to someone else. And bye for now. And thank you, Nicole, for sharing.
Thank you, Eva, for having me.
Okay, bye for now.
For healing. Sunrise paints the sky anew. Shadows fade when I walk through. Every breath a chance to grow.